And it looks like we are live, which means I need to plug this in and use these. Okay, now we're live. How we doing there, guys? What's going on? So I think I just got an email or something. Looks. Huh. So here we are. This is Formless Friday. Sometimes I do live streams. Sometimes I do something recorded. There's no rhyme or reason. That's why I call it formless. And today we're live. We will stay live. Hey, Keith. So today we will stay live until just before 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, Granny D usually goes live on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And since today is Friday, we will do a raid over to her place, which is perfectly lovely because on Wednesdays, she does a raid over to my place. Because I go live on Wednesdays immediately following Granny D. But today we're just before Granny D. She goes live at 5 Eastern. So, Keith, tell me what's going on. Not you say not much happening. What else is going on? Because I'm looking for more men in the yarn community. Hey Jackie, glad to see you. Anyway, yeah, I'm always looking for more men in the yarn community. So I will always welcome your ideas. Sometimes they're going to be people I've reached out to already. Some of them will have said no. Some of them, hey Jody. Some of them will just not have responded, and some of them will be people I've already talked to. But I always want to hear your ideas too. A monkey? Oh, I know that Ginger would love to see that monkey when you're done with it, because Ginger loves monkeys. She loves the fact that I live in a neighborhood called Monkey Junction. I don't think Ginger comes around usually because, Ginger's got kids. She has a full life. So, you never know when people are available to come around. Hey, Amy. Anyway, so here we are. We're just having a good time here, aren't we? So, let me briefly run over my schedule with you. I'm sure most of you know it already. This is a Friday. Sometimes on Fridays I do live, sometimes I do recorded stuff. There's no rhyme or reason. There's no plan to it. That's why I call it a Formless Friday. Saturdays, I usually don't do anything. Sundays, I have a Sunday reading. I have a special one this week recorded and scheduled already for Easter. Mondays, I do Monday Men, where I talk with men in yarn. I'm always looking for more men to talk with. Um, Tuesdays, I do Topic Tuesdays, which is another live stream. Wednesdays, I do Wednesday free for alls, another live stream. Thursdays, I usually don't do anything, and we're back on Friday, where we have our Formless Friday today. Well, Jackie, I'm glad that you can stay as long as you're able. Um, Anyway, so that's my schedule. And as far as general announcements, I don't really have many. I mean, most of you know them. All of my links, Nightbot will provide you with a link tree page that lists all of my links. That includes Ravelry and my Premier Yarns affiliate link and everything else. I do have patterns on Ravelry. I have a group and a page on Facebook. The page is really more about news. The group is about community. Um, what else do I have to talk about? Um, I'm always I'm always talking about pet rescue. So I'm always encouraging people um to create blankets and sweaters and donate them to pet rescues. I don't need to know about it. I just want you to do it because there's no kind of a competition, there's no giveaway, there's no end in sight except to your um, soul. What else do we have? Had Not Hate, yes. Trying to do as much as I can for Hat Not Hate. Um, Other announcements, I will think of them as they come to mind. Otherwise, it's not so important. I have links. My links are at the link tree page that Nightbot will provide you with. Nightbot is a good friend, and so is StreamYard. And let's see. Also, please visit my community tab because there's something new there every day. Every day, I have a moment of culture. It it could be music, it could be drama, it could be theater, it could be poetry, it could be visual arts. Um, and on top of that, I also have other things on my community tab. So I would encourage you to visit my community tab uh, uh, as often as you possibly can. Hey, Jody. Oh, Jody, you started on your hats for Hat Not Hate. Amy, which shawl pattern was that? Crochet is a yarn hog. And some of my patterns in particular are yarn hogs. And in fact, I have several hanks of hand-dyed yarn, each of which is like individual. And I don't know what to do with them because Usually a hank is around 225 yards. I don't know what that is, 200 meters? I don't know. So, regardless of the weight, it's usually going to be about that much yarn, and I don't know what to do with some of those hanks. So, I would welcome ideas for some of those hanks. Oh, Amy, the cluster triangle shawl, that's the one that's in testing now. I'm going to send out a final draft of that, Amy, because somebody did find an error in step 4. Um, so I'm going to send out a final version of that, and I want to publish it very soon. I have a couple of other ones. I have 2 hats. Normally, my hats go on my blog, and I do not charge for them. I make all of my hat patterns free of charge, but these 2 hat patterns were were difficult to create. So, I'm gonna charge for them. I'm going to pair them up, 2 hat patterns as a pair, as a package on Ravelry. What do you think is an appropriate price for that? Because some people say they wouldn't pay anything for a hat pattern. Um, so anyway, so I've got those 2 hat patterns that are gonna go out. I have a rectangular wrap that's going to go out also to the testers. I finally figured out how to do an email group in my web Outlook application. So now I can send it to all of my testers all at once. And in theory, if they click reply, their questions go to everyone so everyone can benefit from the question and answer. And if you want to be added to my group of testers, email me privately and we'll talk about it. So what else is going on with people? Yeah. So and on top of everything else, I have a couple of things that I still need to finish. I have one sweater where I know for certain I have completed all of the pieces, but I can't find them all to sew them together. I don't know where my sleeves are. What am I gonna do? And they were really good sleeves. Um, and what else? I have another one that's sitting right over there. Can't you see it? I'm pointing at it right now. Um, that one I need to finish up. That one won't be a big problem. It just has a lot of ends to sew in because it uses that back stitch or back loop only single crochet technique where you alternate colors and you create a brioche effect. So you have to sew in ends on every row. But in the end, I think it's going to be beautiful. I need to finish that, really. I do. Maybe I'll do that next. Amy, I probably saw your email, but I'm not sure. When did you send it? Um, be sure that if you're on that list, be sure you click reply all when you reply to somebody or reply to one of those emails. Because individual emails, they do have their advantages, but I think talking about those questions as a group is more beneficial. So right now I'm working on I do these lacy things. Sometimes I think they might all look alike to the untrained eye. Um, so I don't know how much appeal each one will have. This one that I'm doing now, I think it might have limited appeal because it has an 8-row repeat. I think that's a lot for a repeat. I have subdivided it into 4-row chunks because that's what it really is. Because each 4-row chunk is a staggered version of the previous 4-row chunk. Amy, try resending it. Your email. I can't see it right now with the browser I'm using. I'll have to wait until we're done here to look for it. And also, Amy, some people are just now starting it, so they don't know. Also, does anyone know of a really, really good charting program for crochet? I have I have looked and looked and looked and have never found one that really works well. Um, I haven't found one that works better than, pen and ink and graph paper. So, and especially, when a lot of times I get my ideas from these stitch sequences from these reference books that I have, but I can't copy the diagrams from those books because they're under copyright. So I have to create my own diagram, especially if I'm taking like a rectangular stitch sequence and then maybe adapting it to create a triangle shawl, something like that. Um, so especially with that triangle cluster shawl, I really need, maybe I just need to get the graph paper and the pen or pencil out and work it out and maybe take a photograph of that because I don't think there exists a graph that shows exactly what I intend. And some people have mistaken or misunderstood what I intended. Mm. I found one that is an iPhone app that promises to be able to make diagrams. And I even paid like $9 for a permanent paid version of this app. We'll see how permanent that is. But it still doesn't really do what I want it to do. Okay, Nightbot just gave you the link, the link tree page with all of my links on it, which includes the Ravelry, the merch on Teespring, which I keep saying I need to update, and I really do. Um, and various other links that you'll find. Um, okay, Amy, that's fine. Just give it a try, see what happens. Um, let's see. So, everybody, what's on your hook? What's in your cup? What's for dinner today? I haven't thought about dinner yet, but you know what? I don't know whether it's because it's Good Friday or because I just love it in general. I could sure do with some fish and chips. I might have to go out and get some. Or order some in. Yes, Amy, I just got your email. I saw it on my phone. I don't see it on this browser because I don't have my Outlook open on this browser. But I just saw your email and I will address it when we're done here. And you're right about that extra chain 2 space in step 4. I really want some fish and chips. Do you know there's a restaurant nearby called Something Fishy? I should call them and place a takeout order. I'll do that when we're done here. I think I shall. Indeed, I shall. What else is going on, people? I see that we don't have a lot of people in the room, and that's okay because we never do. I'm thankful for the people who do come and stick around. I think I'm thankful for the people who watch on the replay. I don't know why they do, but they do. Um, so, as much as I hate this phrase, it's all good. And I really do hate that phrase. But, hey, Yarn Barf. Um, so were we talking about? We're talking about one particular pattern. I've got others in the works that I need to send out to people. Yarn Barf, you're on my tester list, correct? I think you are. And if I recall correctly, you are in South Carolina. I'm trying to create a North Carolina, South Carolina group. I don't know. I don't know anything anymore. I never knew anything, actually. I might have pretended I knew something once, but I learned to stop pretending. Oh, that's right, Yarn Barf. You're in the mountains, right? That's the part of state where I would live if I had my choice because the North Carolina mountains are more beautiful than any other region you will ever see in your life. Hey, Lulu. Ah, ah. Yardbarf. I think there's a Mark Twain quote where he says that I don't know for sure that it's Mark Twain, but when he started college, he was amazed at how ignorant his father was. And when he finished college, he was amazed at how much his father had learned. If you get that, yeah. Mark Twain, a true American treasure. I should read some Mark Twain on my channel. I do my Sunday readings, but it's always poetry. Um, but I should read some Mark Twain because I don't know anyone who does read Mark Twain. Fiber Spider reads Walt Whitman, and I love Walt Whitman. Um, I don't know anyone who reads Mark Twain. Oh, you visit. Yes, I believe Mark Twain was born in Connecticut, and I did live in Connecticut for a while. Um, Lulu agrees that Mark Twain is a treasure. Mm. I should read some Mark Twain. People tell me, based on my poetry readings, they tell me I should read prose. So maybe I'll start reading Mark Twain. I don't know whether anyone will watch those videos, but I will gain something from making them. And honestly, that's what matters. You know, I mean, all of us YouTube people, we talk about the numbers, the subscribers, the viewing hours, blah, blah, woof, woof. But, you know, I tried to view it as a business at one point. Hey, Roberta. I tried to view it as a business at one point. It made me bitter. It came across to my viewers, and I gained absolutely nothing from it. So then I had to unlearn that attitude because I do it because I love connecting with people. One of the best quotes I have ever heard was from an opera singer friend who said that uh, people go to the theater. They don't go to the theater to um, disconnect. They go to connect. They want to connect. They don't want to isolate themselves. They want to connect. So, and it's the same with every one of us who does YouTube. We want to connect with people. And if I, you know, I'll tell you that I will gladly welcome PayPal or any of the other kind of donation or pattern sales on Ravelry, but that's not why I'm here. Because if it was, I would be an abject failure because I don't make money doing this. A few bucks here and there, but I do it to connect. I do it for community. I do it because there are so many other people in the community I love. Oh, yarn barf, that sounds great. Yeah, I love it when we can connect with art. Because, I mean, I have art here. In fact, I have said before, I overspent last month because I bought light fixtures. I'm paid to have them installed. I bought a desk chair that I'm sitting in right now. I bought some really, really beautiful things at an antique shop. But beauty is what refreshes our soul. I was okay, for a few days there at the bank, I was in the red, but I'm okay now. I can keep going. Okay, Yarn Barf and Jackie are having a discussion about a medication. I'm not qualified to comment about anything medical at all, but I think that talking to your doctor does sound like good advice. Who else is in here? Have I missed anybody who came in the room? I want to welcome everybody, and sometimes if I miss somebody who comes in the room, their feelings get hurt. I had to change pharmacies recently, actually. I've there was one I was going to CVS for years and years and years and years and years, but I got a new health plan, and for some reason, this particular plan was not under contract with CVS. But there's a Walgreen right across the street, and actually, my sister gets her prescriptions at that Walgreen anyway. So, it was no trouble to have my prescriptions moved over to that Walgreens. And, for a while there, having no health plan at all left me feeling somewhat insecure, but I couldn't pay for anything. And for that, I'm glad that I have, pattern sales and other things going on to help me. But, I also have a plan through the state that is for poverty-stricken people like me. Because, this, I don't live here. This is a fake background. If I did live here, you would see scores stacked up at that piano. You would see blankets and throws of all sorts of colors on that white sofa. And you would see dog art on the wall. So, yeah, I I pretty much have a bedroom in the front of my sister's house. And more, I'm turning that into a little bit of a studio apartment. Mm. Mm. And I don't sell my crochet output. I refuse to do it because I'm not going to have those discussions that start with, I can find it cheaper at the mall. Because I can assure you my response is not going to be very polite. I would rather give it away as a gift or a donation. And actually, I just did finish one of my Granity moss stitch shawls, which was a gift for a friend of mine. And a week, 1 or 2 weeks ago, I had sent a really, really, really beautiful scarf in amazing colors to someone I knew on Instagram. He had featured it in 3 different stories on Instagram. But by the time I got back to Instagram, I had not visited Instagram in a few days. The stories were gone because they're only up for like 24 hours, I think. They were not preserved as reels or anything in his timeline. I do not know what he posted, but I know that he linked me. I don't know what happened. I want to see a picture of that guy in my scarf. I want to see a picture of that guy in anything because he's a very handsome man anyway. But I want to see a picture of that guy in my scarf. Oh, yeah, yarn barf, I'm not very concerned. I mean, I when I win the lottery, like that's ever gonna happen, I do have definite plans for creating a background like this with a grand piano and a fireplace like that. But, you know, I'm not that concerned. Yarn Barf, link me on or connect to me on Instagram and I'll connect back to you. Bearded Yarn Dudes. I'm Bearded Yarn Dudes everywhere. Um, so anyway, yeah. Yeah, that's the story. I would love. Oh my gosh, that piano. I've been talking about resurrecting my singing voice because I used to be not very bad as a singer, but age and time and inactivity have taken their toll. And so I talk to people, and of course, nobody works for free. Even a friend, I would never ask a friend to work for free. But that shit's expensive. So, when I have the time, I'm gonna try to resurrect it on my own, because I have the knowledge. I just need to pay attention to what I'm doing and what I'm not doing. Because really, it's very, very simple. It's about breath, it's about phonation, and it's about resonance. Three very simple things. And the hard thing is getting out of the way of all of those steps. Yarn barf, yes, I send things to people and I ask them to post pictures on their social media crediting me. Um, and some very often they do. So it's nice. And I owe some people. Some people are overseas. Postage is not cheap. Exactly. Head voice and chest voice. Carry your head voice as far down as you possibly can. That's what I've always tried to counsel people. I watch a lot of these master classes by these amazing singers, and it almost always it comes down to these factors. One, do the work, you know, create the sound technique that will never leave you. Do the work, do the work, do the work. Study what you are singing. That is another way to do the work. Know it inside and out. Second, know what you are singing. Know your intended, if it's an aria, if it's a scene, know who you're singing to, know what the character sees in his or her mind. And 3, do the work, do the work, do the work. But also, um, reinforce it, reinforce the work. It's it's all in doing the work. And when I was young, I didn't have the discipline or the desire to do the work. Yarn barf, that is a very old bel canto technique using a candle. Yes. I will have to look for that channel, Wings of Pegasus. I've been watching a lot of Joyce DiDonato master classes. She is an amazing singer, but when you look at her master classes and when she guides people and they are connected to the work, they're connected to their breath, they're connected to the story. It is amazing the difference that comes about in their vocal mechanisms, vocal mechanisms, because it's stunning, really. Okay, I'm gonna make a note of that. Wings of Pegasus. Actually, now you all know of my passion for music. So I'm going to start branching out, particularly on these Fridays, into interviews with people in the vocal music world. Um, and I hope that you will find them interesting. I know that I can't wait to start doing them. I think it will be great fun. And if you guys don't like it, I don't care. I'm still going to do it. Um, Yarn Barf. Now, Yarn Barf, remind me, do you have a musical background yourself? I can't remember. Okay, so I just posted Granny D's link. We're going to go over there at 5 Eastern. Yarn Barf, we need to talk. Excellent, Yarn Barf. When I was in college at Dear Pfeiffer College, nowadays none of them call themselves colleges. They say universities because they have like these extension MBA programs or whatever. I don't care. Anyway, Dear Pfeiffer College, we didn't have many keyboard people. So even though I was a voice major, I wound up playing for other people's voice lessons. And I tell you, I learned more on the bench than I did in my own lessons. I learned repertoire. I learned how to teach. I learned how not to teach. Oh, oh, Yarn Barf, we have to meet up in person. We really do. But anyway, yes, I learned so much more on the bench than I did standing up as a singer in the studio, especially about repertoire. And honestly, that's half the battle, knowing the repertoire. Yard Barf, you can sing again. Maybe we'll learn together to sing again. I never really understood stringed instruments. I took string methods. I chose the viola because I wanted to be able to read various C clefs. Okay, Yarn Barf, which is better than the banjo or the chicken coop? I have an electric piano in the other room. I just need to go over there and use it because, like, I have the Schubert songbook that I got in like 1980, and a few other songbooks and scores. I just need to go back over there and just start working on them. Um, I do miss singing. I miss it a lot. It used to be a very, very big part of my identity. It's okay, Lulu. Actually, it's about time for us to call it a day. We're gonna all go over and see Granny D, and I will just post her link again. She starts at 5 o'clock usually, Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. Anyway, so it is time to call it a day. I want to thank everybody who's here, everybody who's been here the whole time, everybody who watches the replay, especially if you've made it this long. And, everything that moves. Thank you so much. And I'm going to call it a day, and we're going to go over and see Granny D right now. And as always, like, subscribe, comment, share, all the standard YouTube crap, and keep coming back. Bye bye now.